All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time I start reading more poems from my book. I'm Joshua Dickey, and in the book I'll be reading from, it is A Patriot's Journey, Forging Hope. This is volume 1, and what it is I'm doing my part to try to help battle the 22-a-day veteran suicide rate, and uh, with that, any number that I could lower even by one, I feel like I'm making a huge difference in. And since I am a veteran myself, I retired from the Air Force medically after 15 years. I was a JTAC, so I called in strategic airstrikes for a living. I did 5 combat deployments, and um, just trying to make sense of this world outside of the military walls. And I guess I have a knack for poetry. Um, so let's just dive right into it and see what y'all think. The poem's called Mistakes. I have made mistakes each and every day. I have no filter for the things I say. I never can remember all the words spewed. I guess it's bad because the wife becomes unglued. I never spoke without thinking. It's usually done from a person drinking. I don't have hate or malice in my heart. Why, dear Lord, does the explosion start? I hate feeling dead inside. I can't stop from getting angry. I tried. I'm just a person that says how I feel. It might feel like an ass whooping that doesn't heal. I am put through the ringer each and every day with a test. I'm just trying hard to do my very best. I feel like why you're there, you're not even a friend. No longer can I count on you or even depend. I went through and followed the steps to pass this course. Even after through it, I've killed with no remorse. No matter my struggles, help they will send, because love wins out in the very end. So I know this poem may seem kind of confusing, and it's just kind of, I know it may seem like I said I made mistakes, as in things I've done in combat situations, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking more about the explosions I have at home when my wife and kids are just doing their thing, and all of a sudden I just explode out of the clear blue, and because they're being loud, or I'm getting overwhelmed by all the noises just going on, and I can't shut the noises off in my head, and it just causes so much frustration. But what I wrote for this note section is, mistakes are very hard to admit to making because it puts you in a vulnerable spot. Making a mistake also lets people know that you're wrong, or sometimes you're just not right. I know it's the same thing. Having PTSD causes me to be emotionally numb. While I'm numb, one of the hardest things is not having a filter. Logically, I should be able to realize these things, and I am saying or doing the actions, and I shouldn't be hurting others. These consequences don't even matter, and they don't even run through my mind at the time, actually. I'm not considering others. I am not trying to be right or prove I'm more right, even if I'm not. I find myself crossing the line a lot of times because just saying things. Most of the time, I don't even remember saying them. Half the things I said, but the person that I say to always remembers, especially my spouse. I always seem to be in a state of fight or flight. When someone tries to tell me something that means something to them, I don't demonstrate the appropriate feelings. This leads to further miscommunication, and often fights happen. This time, absolutely horrible things are said, and I just can't believe what I'm saying to these people that I'm supposed to love and care about. When I make these mistakes, which I do often, I have to apologize to them. I know it's the same thing over and over again, but that's why they're mistakes. And I try to tell my wife this all the time. I'm like, if I keep apologizing to you, you're just gonna keep thinking they're empty promise or empty apologies, and I don't really mean them. Uh, and she's just like, well, if you mean it, then we'll work through it. Um, but sometimes in my head, it's it's hard to explain when you if you've never been emotionally numb. But I'll put it like this to you. Uh, One day, my daughter was riding her bike, and she was going pretty fast, and she took a corner real hard, and all of a sudden like went over her handlebars and scraped herself all up, and she started crying. most people would feel bad for their kids and go over there, pick them up. Hey, it's okay, and tell them I love them and stuff like that. Um, that's not what my kids get to experience. My kids get to experience me being pissed off and telling them, "Hey, you caused it. Deal with it. Stop your whining. Man up. Get back on and go again." And then they cry some more because they don't want to get back on because they just were hurt. And I just don't have mercy for them. I'm just like, no, listen, I'm not gonna tolerate it. Get back on your bike. Let's go. And then I'm I'm seeing my kid crying, and most parents would really just take the emotional stance. But when you're emotionally numb, it's not anything but anger, and you just can't understand. But you can see it in your head going, "Stop it!" You're fighting with yourself internally, and you're just like, "Come on, step away from the situation, try to get away." And then as you're talking, it sounds funny, talking to yourself in your head, and then somebody else wants to join the conversation. So now you got like three people going, which really two are in your own head, but and so it's like, wait, you're not my boss. You don't get to tell me what to do. So you can shut your mouth. And then now it sparks another thing, and then it just keeps this like anger train moving. And as you go, I'm like, hey, I don't get nicer. Stop pissing me off. I don't want to be in an angry state, but the more you guys talk to me, the more I want to rip somebody's freaking head off. So just shut your mouths and let me just stop. And it's taken a long time to, well, first admit. You think I'd be able to easily admit I have a problem when I'm doing stuff like this, especially when your daughter's only 4 years old and hurts herself on a bike. Um, but no, as bad as it sounds, I just didn't. And I go to the doctors. Hey, man, this is wrong. I tell them this is wrong. I should not feel like I don't care about my kids when they get hurt. Like this should be an issue. And he just looked at me and he just be like, well, And then I remember, oh yeah, I'm talking to idiots. So I guess if I'm gonna do something, I have to do it on my own and figure this out, or talk to somebody smarter than me, um, which isn't hard to throw a rock and I'll hit somebody. So it's like, hey man, just so you know what's going on. I can't deal with this. Like this is what's up with me and my family, and because it's somebody I trust and confide in, and which actually brings me to my next poem. And Gus was that guy I would call and tell him, hey, I'm falling short. And he would just tell me, keep trying. So, as you can see, I'm off a lot of the medications. So, it's getting easier to tap into my emotions and call myself out on the BS that I had. Because is this poem. And it says, I joined the military when I was 19 years old. It was a very good choice, or so I'm told. I went to basic training, and it was pretty fun. I did more before most, seeing the rising sun. I wanted to be special, so Florida I must go. It was pretty nervous, but it didn't show. I'm at the running track, and this old guy I did stare. He was all wrapped up, but he didn't seem to care. He was at the gym every single day. He was all beat up, his body, and his body did pay. I asked him his name, and it said it was Gus. No matter how many things wrapped up, I never heard him fuss. As a first boss, he taught me to do things only his way. If he caught me not listening, he would make me severely pay. He wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't do anything intentionally to be a dick. This seemed like he knew everything, and it made me sick. It turns out what a great friend he actually would be. The huge impact he made in my life were yet to see. I made sure he knew we would be friends until the very end. I knew we would somehow, someone I could always depend. As the years gone and we ran into each other, I was so glad to call you my brother. I know you're looking down on us while you're in heaven bound. It's going to be hell not having you around. So after Gus killed himself, I didn't have anybody. Things got worse. And my wife would try to help. People would try to help me, but to stop caring. Because you meet those good people in your life, and they always had your back, and then they do something so stupid. And they don't know the damage they've done. They see it as only ending their pain. But they cause so much hurt for so many others. This is not what. This is not the way I saw this going. But I'm gonna say that because of the love I have for my family, I don't stop ever trying to do better. Yes, I'll constantly fail. And but I'll always pick myself up. And that's the key I want people to get from this. It's okay to fall down. Just don't be a dumbass and learn to pick yourself back up. It may suck. It may hurt. You may look like a wuss. As you can see, I am. Hey, I don't care I'm being emotional right now. The truth of the matter is, I'll probably whoop 99% of your asses out there. So it doesn't really matter to me what you guys think. You know? That was a joke. No, I'm serious, I could, but that was a joke. Like, I wasn't threatening anybody. But I just appreciate everybody that's been reading this book and watching my channel. And like I said, this isn't made up stuff. This isn't me going, oh hey, look, I want to be something. No, this is me wanting to help people. And if they can see me realizing flaws and all, progressing still, and not afraid of what I look like, then they can too. Once again, I have an email address if you guys want to reach me. Um, I have the links on my page. Um, don't be afraid. Always look for help, and always be strong enough to find it. All right, guys. Till tomorrow.